Welcome back. All right, a 10-game Tuesday in the National Hockey League. This week's not bad, really. We got 9 games on Thursday, so honestly, not too rough of a week. They're saving that for a couple of weeks around American Thanksgiving. That's where things get kind of tough. Plus, I figured out today that the concert I'm going to towards the end of this month will be on a night with 15 games, and I'm going. It's Tea Party, Finger 11, Headstones. Those are 3 bands I really like, so I'm going. The review's just going to be late that night. All right, so we'll start things off with Utah and Buffalo. It's Vejmelka versus Lyon in this one. Very low-scoring affair between these two teams. There were boos for Peterka when he touched the puck because, of course, he didn't want to stay in Buffalo. He wanted to go to Utah, and he went to Utah. Or at the very least, he wanted out of Buffalo, right? So he goes to Utah. The Sabres had 2 power plays in that first period. I thought they had a good period of play, but it's scoreless after the first. Second period, Utah had the lion's share of play in that second period. They controlled a lot of the game. They also had 2 power plays in that period, which is very often the way that works. The team that's driving the play ends up getting the power plays. But we still don't have a score after 2 periods of play. It's just 0-0. Third period, 3:58 in. Nick Schmaltz opens the scoring. He goes short side from the right circle. Keller and Marino with the assists. So a little bit under 4 minutes into the third period, we got a 1-0 lead. But Buffalo does answer. At 7:50, Ostlund buries one in close. It took a bit of a Sabres bounce for his first National Hockey League goal, I do believe, and Roseanne had the assist on that. So at 7:50, it becomes a 1-1 tie. Now, before the period's out, Utah would put another puck in the net, but it is declared by the referee that Lyon had the puck, and therefore it is no goal. So because the goaltender had the puck, it's no goal. We end up going to overtime. Overtime was very popular tonight. In the overtime, Utah controls early. The Sabres steal. Tuck is denied, and then the puck goes the other way, and Keller buries it on a net drive at 47 seconds. Sergachev and Vejmelka with the assists. So Utah goes into Buffalo. They win in overtime 2-1. Buffalo just finishing shy of winning another one. 3 stars, Lyon, Ostlund, and Keller. Shots on net, 9-7 Buffalo in the first, 15-5 Utah in the second, 12-3 Utah in the third. Both teams had 1 shot in the overtime. Utah, the shot that matters. Utah outshot Buffalo 35-18 in this one. Power plays, both teams go 0 for 2. The hits 20-15 for Buffalo. Vejmelka saved 17 out of 18. Lions saved 33 out of 35. And of course, the chess magnet is on the board. The chess magnet got a bit of a workout tonight, didn't it? All right, so we'll move on to the next one. This game did not get a chess magnet. In fact, it almost got an 80s magnet. It's Philadelphia and Montreal. Just a bonkers game. Glad I picked the magnets I did. Vladar versus Montembeault in this one, and at 1:56, Philadelphia opens the scoring. Brink, it's a turnover. It's a point shot blocker side. Brink with the goal from Sanheim and York. So Philly with the quick start. We then get a minute and 32 seconds of 5-on-3 for the Flyers. Flyers power play struggles, but that's too much time for 5-on-3, and they do score. York with a one-timer from the left circle at 7:05. Scores from Zegras and Konechny. And then they score during the 5-on-4 as well at 7:48. Brink buries a rebound in close. The assist to Cates and Zegras. We have a 3-0 lead. In fact, Montreal had 1 shot halfway through the period. They only had 1 shot in the second half of this period. It was reminding me of Toronto last night against Pittsburgh, which is interesting because the second period, Montreal comes to life. At 3:11, Doc buries a rebound from the side of the net. Dobson and Gallagher with the assist, so now it's 3-1. And then at 4:13 on the power play becomes 3-2. It's a cross-ice pass and in. Suzuki gets the goal from Demidov and Caulfield. Later on in the period at 13:26, Montreal ties it. Kirby Doc on a pass from behind the net. Hudson and Struble with the assists. We have ourselves a 3-3 tie. Well, Montreal will go back to the power play, and they score on this one as well. At 15:57, Demidov wires one from the right circle. Slavkovsky and Hudson with the assists. It's 4-3 Montreal after 2. So, bonkers. Third period, the game changes again. Delorier had a fight with Jackeye. Now, what's interesting is it's Arbor in this case. He had a fight with Florian as well in the preseason, so he's fought both Jackeyes. The way I looked at it was they talked about it during the broadcast, and I thought that'd be interesting if he met their mother. Oh, I tenderized your children. So the Flyers get a power play with 6 seconds left. Nope, I'm way ahead of myself. There were chants for Montembeault. Montembeault had a really good game. Really, really strong game overall. And then Philly would score. Grabenkin gets his first NHL goal at 10:51. Konechny and Drysdale with the assist. So we have a 4-4 tie. Now we're going to overtime because overtime was popular tonight. Flyers controlled early. The Flyers would end up getting a power play with 6 seconds left. They don't score during that. Then we go to the shootout, and in the shootout, Trevor Zegras with the winner. Just filthy move on that shootout attempt. Zegras is fantastic in shootouts. And so the Flyers win this one 5-4 via the shootout. Your 3 stars are Zegras, Demidov, and Doc. Shots on net favored the Flyers through the first 3 periods. 12-2 in the first, 17-9 in the second, 11-7 in the third. They also had 2 shots in overtime, but the Montreal Canadiens had 2 shots as well. Final shots 42-20 for the Flyers. Power plays, the Flyers 2 for 6. Montreal 2 for 4. The hits 26-22 for Montreal. Vladar, rough night for him statistically, 16 saves on 20 shots. Montembeault, nice night for him, 38 saves on 42 shots. That'll bring the save percentage up at least a little bit, and that's something that I think he needed for his confidence. All right, next up, Boston and the New York Islanders. Swayman versus Sorokin. This first period took 27 minutes to play. That's it, 27 minutes. Very little in the way of whistles. You got to remember you've got commercials in there too, so yeah, most of it was continuous play. I thought it was a good road period for Boston, and there were no penalties in that first period either. So we go to the second, and the scoring shows up in the second. At 5:10, Duclair wires one from the slot on a face-off win by the Islanders in the Boston zone. Cizikas and McLean with the assists, so the Islanders open the scoring. Everything gets punchy at 9:18. The Islanders come out with a power play. That's killed off. And not too long after, at 12:21, Arvidsson puts one in off Anders Lee's skate to tie the game at 1. The assist to Hampus Lindholm and Casey Mittelstadt. The Islanders would get the lead back, though, at 13:06. Horvat puts one in from the left circle on a rush. The assist to Barzal and Heineman. But Boston would answer on the power play. So very back-and-forth game. It is Zacha from McAvoy and Geekie at 17:29. Boston would then go right back to the power play mere seconds later. That one fails to cash in. We have a 2-2 tie after the second period. Third period, 5:05 in. Bo Horvat, he's red hot right now. He roofs it from the slot. Schaefer and Palmieri with the assist, so Matthew Schaefer with a helper. That lead lasts until 15:06. Kuznetsov buries a rebound and close to tie the game at 3. The assist to Mitten and Pasternak. So we go to overtime because everything goes to overtime. The Islanders control early. They had a 4-on-3 power play to start things off. The Bruins finish the kill. In that overtime, not a lot of shots on net. We end up going to a shootout here as well. In the shootout, it's Kuznetsov that gets the winner. So Boston goes into New York. They beat the Islanders in the shootout 4-3. Your 3 stars are Kuznetsov, Horvat, and Swayman. Shots on net, 7-3 Boston in the first, 18-8 Islanders in the second, 11-9 Boston in the third. Shots are 2-1 in the overtime for the Islanders. Final shots, 32-27 for the Islanders. Power plays, Boston 1 for 4, the Islanders 0 for 3. Hits, 16-15 Boston. Swayman had another good game, 29 saves on 32 shots. Sorokin, 24 saves on 27 shots. All right, moving along. The Carolina Hurricanes and the New York Rangers. What is it with the New York Rangers at home? Like, honest question, I don't know what is the issue here. At any rate, it's Kochetkov versus Shesterkin, and during the first period, Nick Ehlers finally gets his first goal as a member of the Carolina Hurricanes, and he does it on the power play. It's posted in, past a screen, so no chance for Igor there. The assist to Walker and Aho, and that's at 13:30 of the first period. And that would be your scoring in the first period. The Rangers unable to manage a goal, although they had 15 shots in that first period. Second period, it stays 1-0 for most of it. At 17:07, Carolina adds to the lead. It's a point shot past the screen by Walker. The assist to Riley and Jankowski. It's a 2-0 lead in favor of Carolina. And there were no shots by the New York Rangers in the final 8 minutes and 8 seconds of the second period. And then in the third period, Carolina just blankets the Rangers. They're giving the Rangers nothing. Eventually, the Rangers are forced to pull the goaltender with 2:45 left. And that leads to a goal at 18:21 for Seth Jarvis. An empty netter. The assist to Stahl and Riley. 3-0 lead, and that's your final score. The Rangers, I believe this is the 4th time already this season the Rangers have been shut out at home. This is why I didn't move them up the power rankings very much. I wanted to see if it would work at home, and it didn't. Your 3 stars are Kochetkov, Ehlers, and Riley. Shots on net, 15-13 Rangers in the first, 13-9 Carolina in the second, 6-1 for the Carolina Hurricanes in the third period, meaning for the final 28 minutes and 8 seconds, the Rangers had 1 shot on net. That's not great. Power plays, Carolina 1 for 3, the Rangers 0 for 3. The hits, 22-13 for the Rangers. Kochetkov saves all 25 shots, so in his return, he's perfect. And Shesterkin saved 29 out of 31. They wasted another really good performance by Shesterkin, and the Rangers have got to be concerned. There has to be some concern in this organization about the fact that they can't score goals at home. I don't know that I've seen anything like this in the years I've been doing this on the channel, where a team just can't even get a goal at home. They're good on the road. They can't get a goal at home. All right, next up, the Oilers in Dallas. So Skinner versus DeSmith in this one, and the Oilers would open the scoring. At 3:40, it's a cross-ice pass and in on a rush. Podkolzin gets, I believe, his second of the season. The assist to Roslovic and Bouchard. And Roslovic has suddenly started producing points. He would get another point in the first period at 7:07. It's a power play goal by Draisaitl. A one-timer from a sharp angle, but it's Draisaitl, so it doesn't matter what the angle is. He can hit the net. The assist to Roslovic and McDavid. So it's 2-0 in favor of the Oilers, and they would maintain that lead all the way through to the end of the first period. We go to the second. It stays 2-0 until 9 minutes and 10 seconds on a power play. Mikko Rantanen gets his 300th goal in his long illustrious career. The assist to Wyatt Johnston and Jason Robertson. So it's a backhand from the doorstep. Nice goal, makes it 2-1. That's as close as Dallas gets to the end of the second period. It stays 2-1. Third period, 7:51 in, the Oilers get an insurance goal. And usually we'd look at that and go, well, that's probably going to get them the win, right? It's McDavid roofing one from the left circle on a rush. Nugent Hopkins and Mangiapane with the assists. But we know that 2-goal leads in the NHL this year don't really mean a lot. So Dallas scores at 8:37, so less than a minute after it becomes 3-1. It's 3-2. It's Rantanen. So he gets his 301st goal. He gets it from the inner slot on a rush. Johnston and Petrovic with the assists. And then eventually Dallas ties it. At 12:20, it's Heiskanen. It takes a very Dallas bounce off the boards, and Heiskanen buries it. The assist to Rantanen and Johnston. So Rantanen with 3 points tonight. We have ourselves a 3-3 tie. We're going to overtime. So the only game that didn't go to overtime on this first board is the Carolina Rangers game. That's it. Everything else went to overtime. The Oilers controlled early. Sagan couldn't bury one in close. There were chances, but we go to the shootout. In the shootout, Wyatt Johnston with the winner. So we had 3 shootouts on this first board today. That's crazy. It's a lot of shootouts. The 3 stars are Rantanen, Johnston, and McDavid. Shots on net, 11-7 Dallas in the first, 8-5 Dallas in the second, 12-5 Edmonton in the third. In the overtime, 3-2 Dallas. Final shots, 27-26 for the Stars. Power plays, 1 for 3 for Edmonton, 1 for 4 for Dallas. Both teams had 18 hits in this game. Skinner saves 24 out of 27. DeSmith saved 23 out of 26 at the other end. So, entertaining game. Dallas gets the win because it's not a Western Conference final game. So, because they were talking about like, oh, you know, Edmonton and Dallas. I'm thinking, well, it's the regular season. Dallas will probably get the win. It's not the playoffs. So, Dallas could win in the playoffs. That'd be nifty, but I don't know. All right, last one on this board is Nashville and Minnesota. Annunen versus Gustafsson in this one. Minnesota wearing their throwbacks. I love the throwbacks. I think they're fantastic. I hope they keep them. I don't have I have the original the throwbacks based on, but I haven't ordered the throwback because in the Canadian NHL shop, they only sell it with the name on the back, and it's $321. And I look at that and go, no, because I try to avoid getting the jerseys with the name on the back. This is a Ricci. But it's because they don't age well. Eventually, that player moves on, and if it's an ugly way they exit, well, now you're stuck with a jersey you can't wear. All right, so in the first period on the power play, Minnesota's power play heats up tonight again. 10:44, it is Kaprizov, pass to screen from the high slot, making it 1-0 Minnesota. The assist to Spurgeon and Tarasenko. And that lead holds up all the way through the first period. We go to the second, score 1-0 in favor of Minnesota. 5:16 in, Matthew Wood buries one on a net drive. He scores from McCarron and Jost, so that ties the game up at 1. The Preds are controlling, and they controlled most of that first half. They had tons of opportunities, but eventually We get a power play from Minnesota, and they score again. This time it's Buiam at 16:01 from Faber and Johansson. So that makes it 2-1 Minnesota, and they are kind of fortunate to be ahead 2-1 since they've been outshot 24-13 after 40 minutes, but they're ahead 2-1. We go to the third. Goalie pull happens with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left. Boldy has an empty net attempt. That's blocked, which is a key thing. We'll see here. The Preds call a timeout with 46.6 seconds left, and then with basically as the clock's expiring, Nashville scores. It's Stamkos. It's only his second goal of the year, but he gets a goal here at 19:59. Blankenberg with the assist. So Nashville, they pull this one into overtime at the very last moment because that's how it works tonight. And in the overtime, the Wild control early. Teams go back and forth with it. And at 3:38, Johansson scores from Kaprizov and Faber. But look out, the net was off the moorings. How can that goal count? So I've seen Pierre LeBrun saying he doesn't blame Andrew Burnett for being livid with this call. The net was off the moorings because Annunen knocked it off. It has always been the rule that if the goaltender or a defending player knocks the net off and then the puck goes in, where the net would have been, the goal counts. So it was reviewed, it was held up on review. It is the right call. I know that there are people who don't like that call and they don't like that rule, but it has been the rule. And when I saw it, I was like, that's a good goal. I understood they had to review it to make sure, but yeah, when the goaltender knocks the net off like that, it's continuation. It's continuation, and it's, yep, all right. And to me, it looked like Annunen meant to knock the net off. He understood that there was a potential of a goal coming. And it looked like he quit, too, after the net was knocked off. Like, okay, I can rest now because the net's off the moorings. And then Minnesota scores. So 3-2 overtime win for Minnesota, which did generate a lot of discussion. 3 stars are Johansson, Gustafsson, and Stamkos. Shots on net, 10-9 Nashville in the first, 14-4 Nashville in the second, 9-8 Nashville in the third. In the overtime, Minnesota outshoots Nashville 3-1, including the shot that matters. Final shots, 34-24 Nashville. Power plays, Nashville 0-2, Minnesota 2-3. The hits, 22-13 Minnesota. Annunen saves 22 out of 24. Gustafsson saves 32 out of 34. Let's go ahead and go to the second board. All right, 4 games to discuss on this board and no overtime. I had expected overtime in every game tonight. It was like, we're going to have bonkers, insane amounts of overtime. I'm going to have to do a video on it and look at what's going on. I may still have to anyways, because there's patterns I'm noticing in these games that do go to overtime. But we'll start now with Tampa and Colorado as we start board number 2. Vasilevsky versus Wedgwood. And 1 minute and 37 seconds in, Kucherov scores on the first shot for Tampa. Wraparound. Wedgwood was looking the wrong way, and Kucherov just puts it in. We then had a fight between Dastus and Landeskog. So Landeskog maybe not getting the points and the goals he used to, but still leading by example. Then at 13:51 on a power play, Colorado scores. It is Olofsson bearing a rebound from the doorstep. McKinnon and Natchez with the assists. We have ourselves a 1-1 tie, and that would be the score after the first. Second period, 4:08 in, Olofsson buries a one-timer from the slot. The assist to Drury and Landeskog. So there's Landeskog with a helper. Colorado with their first lead of the game at 2-1. And not long after, they would score again. At 5:21, Colton puts it around Vasi. It goes off the post, off Vasi, and into the net, but he goes around Vasi first. And it's on a fast break. The assist to Malinsky and Nelson. So 3-1 lead in favor of Colorado. They're at home. The fans are feeling good. That's your lead after 2 periods. In the third period, Tampa would make it a little closer. At 3:32, Point with a backhand on a net drive. Dastus and Hedman with the assist, so that makes it 3-2. Everything gets huggy with 5:34 left. The Avs come out of that with a power play. They do not score on that, and then Tampa pulls the goaltender with 3 minutes left. But in the end, they're not able to generate much. I believe they only had 1 shot during those 3 minutes where they had the 6-on-5. So Colorado wins this one 3-2, ends the winning streak for Tampa. That stops at 5. Your 3 stars are Olofsson, Colton, and Point. Shots on net. Favored Colorado the whole way, 10-9 in the first, 14-7 in the second, 9-8 in the third. Final shots, 33-24 for Colorado. Power plays, Tampa 0-3, Colorado 1-4. The hits, 23-17 for Tampa. Vasilevsky, 30 saves on 33 shots. Wedgwood, 22 saves on 24 shots. Wedgwood, he's getting played a ton. He's still playing well. So Good on Wedgwood. All right, next up. Detroit and Vegas. Gibson versus Schmid. I thought both goaltenders were pretty darn sharp. Each team had a power play in the first period. This game did not feature a lot in the way of power plays. There were only 3 in total. So we go to the second period. The score's tied at 0, and it stays that way until the second half of the second period. At 13:45, Barbashev buries one from the doorstep. I thought this was against the flow of play, too. Detroit had a number of really good... In terms of zone time, they had some really good shifts in the Vegas zone. They weren't getting a lot of shots to the net, though. But this goal, Barbashev from Sada and Lauzon, that makes it 1-0, and that would be your score after the first period. After the second period, I should say. In the third period, Vegas scores, but there's an offside challenge, so there's no goal. And the goalie pull would happen with 2 minutes left. Detroit's just not able to manage that goal that ties it. Interestingly enough, I had my wife in here to watch the games with me tonight. It's a little bit easier when I'm not taking the notes, obviously. I can have a conversation when I'm not just taking notes all the time. But I called the Barbashev goal. I said, well, Vegas is just going to get on the ice and score now. And then they did. So I'd like to apologize to Detroit fans everywhere. 1-0 win for Vegas. So the Tony the Tiger Magnets on the board for the second out of 3 times tonight, because Schmid was great. Another chess magnet on the board. How many chess magnets did I use tonight? Man, a lot of them. Anyways, very low scoring games tonight in general. Then we get over here. 3 stars are Schmid, Barbashev, and Saad. Vegas doesn't know how to do the 3 stars with a 1-0 score. Your 3 stars are supposed to be Schmid, Barbashev, and Gibson, the guy who had 33 saves on 34 shots. Probably should have been. Anyways, shots on net, 14-9 Vegas in the first, 9-5 Vegas in the second, 11-10 Vegas in the third. Final shots, 34-24 for the Golden Knights. Power plays 0-2 for Detroit, 0-1 for Vegas. The hits, 21-10 for Vegas. Gibson, 33 saves on 34 shots. Schmid saves 24 out of 24 for the shutout, his second in his career and his first as a member of the Vegas Golden Knights. All right, next up. Florida and Anaheim. What an absolutely insane, crazy game this was. And it's a shame these two teams are done with each other until next season, unless they meet in the Stanley Cup final. And don't start laughing now. Bobrovsky versus Dostalin, 3:09 in. Anaheim's not messing around. Gauthier scores on a breakaway. It's only the second shot. Leo Carlsson with the assist. So Florida finding out early on here, Anaheim's pretty good in Anaheim. Then at 10:14, Florida ties it. It's a breakaway goal too. Marchand scoring from Petrie. So Brad Marchand, the one player who offensively has been producing at a pretty good clip for Florida so far this year. But on a power play, not too long after, at 15:17, Anaheim answers. It's Gauthier. Cross-ice pass and buried by Gauthier. The assist to Terry and Kreider. So we have ourselves a 2-1 lead in favor of Anaheim, and that score holds up through to the end of the first period. Second period, Florida starts doing Florida things. At 5:21, Rodriguez goes glove side on a breakaway, so that's 3 breakaway goals in this game. The assist to Samoskevich and Forsling. And then at 10:37 on a power play, Luostarinen with a chip shot from in close. He scores from Rodriguez and Bennett. So Sam Bennett with his second assist of the season, his 4th point, and Florida suddenly has a 3-2 lead. Everything gets punchy with 5:46 left. The Ducks come out of that with a power play, and they score on it. At 15:36 is Gauthier with a one-timer from the left circle, and that is the first career hat trick for Cutter Gauthier. The assist to Lacombe and Carlson. So we have a 3-3 tie. Doesn't stay that way. At 17:19, Nestorenko with a chip shot from the side of the net gives Anaheim the lead back at 4-3. The assist to Paling and Killorn. So there you go. We go to the third period. Everything gets punchy at 42 seconds, so the Ducks come out of that with a power play as well. Then we get a minute and 52 seconds of 4-on-4, so there's booing. And not only that, but the penalty that makes it 4-on-4, Leo Carlsson's given 5 minutes. I've watched the replay many times over. I thought it was going to be 2. I was honestly surprised it was 5. So, but the league made that call, because you can see the referees talking to the league, so it's 5. But while the referee was informed that he sucks and there was a lot of booing, in the end, everything gets killed off because during the 3-minute power play, well, Florida takes another penalty as well. So it was a bit of a parade there. But when the smoke clears, at 11:43, Trouba buries a rebound and close. Jacob Trouba's having a great season. He scores from Gauthier McTavish. Suddenly it's 5-3. Anaheim's not done. 13-21, Kreider tips in a net feed for his 7th goal of the season. The Rangers are missing Kreider, aren't they? Nestorenko and Terry with the assists. And then at 14:47, it's another rebound goal. Harkins, this one still shows as unassisted last time I looked. Harkins makes it 7-3, gets the 80s magnet on the board. So while everybody else is playing chess, they're having an 80s party in Anaheim. It's a 7-3 win for the Ducks tonight. Your 3 stars are Gauthier, Terry, and Nestorenko, and Florida's now 1-5 on the road this season. Shots on net, 9 apiece in the first, 10 apiece in the second, 13-2 Anaheim in the third. Final shots 32-21 for the Ducks. Power plays, Florida 1 for 5, Anaheim 2 for 7. The hits, 27-13 for Florida. Now, I don't have the goalie stats on the board, but I can figure this out on my own. Bobrovsky saved 25 out of 32, and Dostal saved 18 out of 21. So Dostal wasn't as busy as Bobrovsky, but Bobrovsky's stats take a bit of a hit tonight. So, yeah, Florida kind of got stomped by Anaheim. We'll see how they bounce back in their next game. But, yeah, that game was kind of sort of bonkers, wasn't it? All right. Next up, last game of the night, before we go look at the standings and see how things changed, is the Winnipeg Jets. It's the LA Kings. Hellebuck versus Kemper. The Jets have a goal waved off for goalie interference. I don't know why they challenged this, and you can hear it in the way Kevin Sawyer called it. He said, well, yeah, he's kind of in the crease, and he makes contact with the goalie, but I'm like, no. He's in the crease, and he makes contact with the goalie. They always call that no goal. It's very rare, unless the defending player pushes him in, which he didn't. So I was surprised they challenged it, and of course it still no goal, so the Kings go to the power play, and then 20 seconds later it becomes 4-on-4. There's just one shot each team at 11 minutes. Very, very quiet start to the game. But before the period's out at 17:09, Kempe buries one from the doorstep to make it 1-0 for LA. The assist to Armia and Anderson. So we go to the second period with the score 1-0 for LA. And when we reach the 30-minute mark, the Jets have a total of 9 shots. The Jets were really controlled by LA. And in that second period, they got more shots than they got in the first. But it really never felt like LA was out of control in any of those first 40 minutes. Then we go to the third period. We have 49 seconds of a 5-on-3. And it's a 4-minute penalty that draws that 5-on-3 as well. So they kill off the 5-on-3, but they still have an extended 5-on-4 to kill off. And during the second half of that 4-minute power play, Fiala puts one in at 15 minutes. Perry and Byfield with the assist. So not only is it 2-0 LA, but there's only 5 minutes left. And this is the one team Winnipeg couldn't get a win against last year. The only team in the National Hockey League that they were not able to record a win against. The goalie pull happens with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left. The Jets call a timeout with 1:46 left. Whatever they discussed doesn't work. At 19:06, it is Doughty hitting the empty net to make it a 3-0 score, and that would be your final. So the chess magnet's on the board again. The Tony the Tiger magnet's on the board again for another shutout. Your 3 stars are Kemper, and Doughty. Shots on net, 7-5 LA in the first, 11-8 LA in the second, 10-8 Winnipeg in the third. Final shots 26-23 in favor of the Kings. Power plays, Winnipeg 0 for 5. That stands out. LA 1 for 6. The hits 16-12 for Winnipeg. Hellebuck saved 23 out of 25. Kemper saved all 23 for the shutout. And yeah, I'm glad I've got a lot of Tony the Tiger magnets, because tonight I ended up needing a few of them. At any rate, let's go ahead and take a look at how this affected the standings. All right, so with the win tonight, Colorado stays first, 8-1-5 record, 21 points in 14 games. Winnipeg with the loss, 18 points in 13 games, a record of 9-4, the exact same record that Utah has. So they're tied for second place now. Anaheim is first in the Pacific, 8-3-1, 17 points in 12 games. They look like a first place team. Vegas 7-2-3. They also have 17 points in 12 games. Seattle 16 points in 12 games, 6-2-4. Pacific, the race is real. Then we look at the wild cards. Dallas, the first wild card, 7-3-3, 17 points in 13 games. The Kings are the number 2 wild card now, 6-4-4, 16 points in 14 games. Just below the playoff line, the Oilers 6-5-4, so they have 16 points in 15 games. Vancouver 7-7, Nashville 5-6-4, 14 points in 15 games. Chicago's up next, and then Minnesota 5-6-3, 13 points in 14 games. San Jose, St. Louis, Calgary, nothing happened with them tonight. None of them played. So then we look at the Atlantic and Montreal, 9-3-1, 19 points in 13 games. So they're only 2 points out of first overall now. Yeah. And they only got the 1 point tonight, but still, 1 point puts them 1 point ahead of Detroit, who lost in regulation. Detroit 9-5, so they're now 1 point back, and Montreal has a game in hand. Boston is third in the division. No idea where this came from. 8-7, 16 points in 15 games. This is how bonkers the stats are and the standings are. In the Metro, New Jersey and Pittsburgh, no games for them tonight. Carolina stays third. They're now 8-4, 16 points in 12 games. Toronto is the number one wild card at 7-5-1, 15 points in 13 games. Philadelphia goes all the way from last in the East to the number 2 wild card spot with 1 game. Yep. 7-5-1 record, same as Toronto, 15 points in 13 games. And that's how crazy the standings are in the East. So Columbus drops out. They have 14 points in 12 games. The Islanders, 14 points in 13 games. Tampa, 14 points in 13 games. The same 6-5-2 record as the Islanders above them and the Ottawa Senators below them. Buffalo, 5-4-4, so they have 14 points in 13 games. The Rangers, 6-6-2, so they're 500, NHL 500. Washington, 6-5-1, 13 points in 12 games. Florida's last in the East, 6-6-1, 13 points in 13 games, but they're only 2 points out of a playoff spot. Only 3 points behind third in the division, even though they're last in the East, because the East is still not drawing itself out a little bit. But at any rate, it does make things very interesting, very entertaining, and it means every night I just erase the whole board if it's a busy night in the NHL, and I just start fresh, because I know the standings are going to change. There you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. It's greatly appreciated. I will talk to you again soon.